you and I having a conversation here about, yeah, how do you build up authenticity, share some of the darker corners of some of your stories? You are somebody that has way more knowledge and skill with this than I think you're really historically owning, because I know that you are somebody that operates with a lot of radical honesty, that, all jokes aside, is going to say things that have gone on in your life, and would rather face the consequences of saying,
Dr. Altala.
You'd rather face the consequences of saying something that is a very true and authentic version of your experiences than figuring out how to keep that secret and hidden, which is very corrosive, for the most part.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, you have created a whole world in here that is, how many really raw, difficult peaks and valleys stories can you get out there into the universe that creates more and more opportunities for people to be like, oh, I've been through something like that. Or, gosh, I've never even told anybody, but I also had A, B, and C, right? Like, so you're cultivating a little bit of expert level knowledge on understanding the role of grace, understanding the role of, we've all done things that we're not particularly happy with, or that we would count as regret. And we have to kind of bring some of those to the light if we want to feel seen in any meaningful way.
On the original or traditional PA podcast, where we bring in those stories, and when people, everybody's story is unique, very unique, but there's always somebody out there that will, and this is where I get spiritual about it, because and you said this, I think it might've been the first show when you talked about the right intervention at the wrong time. The timing thing we can't manufacture, but when Becky shares a story about losing her son, and somebody's driving down 64 on a Tuesday and throws the podcast on and hears it, and it impacts their life to the point where I've had this told to me, and not, to where they literally make a pivot and they're heading down one direction of shame or making the same mistake, whether it's self-medicating, and they hear something at the right time. We're doing our part by putting it out in the world, and then we're having some faith that the spiritual part will find somebody at that right time, and boom, when it hits, it can be there's been times, to use the title of this, it's all about that. I needed to hear that.
Sure. And
a lot of times you tune out the people that even your own board of directors. So when you hear something that's a new voice, a mother, an ordinary mother that's grieving, a child is doing an extraordinary thing, and hearing that a stranger's story can change change a life.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you saying that. When you talk about grace, my first real experience of grace was just the day I woke up, the day 2 in treatment, and just had people helping and loving a stranger who just by default ended up in detox from a whole lot of mistakes and wrong decisions, or poor decisions, however you want to look at it. And nobody cared about any of that. And then the flip side is when you receive that type of grace, I don't know anybody that's received the type of grace that I'm talking about that does not want to tell people about it, introduce people to it, help them find it.
Sure.
It's one of those things that you just don't want to keep for yourself.
Yeah.